knows where the case has traveled to. It just led to a public outcry. The institutions who are responsible can till today not tell us that. So this was what was in the envelope. And then the person who actually bribed or gifted, no matter the words the MPP want to give to that, who bribed or gifted as far back as April, has been either, punished, or a certain deterrence has been served. All that happened was public outcry. All that happened was a certain media discussion about it. And I think that beyond the media discussion, the laws must work. Now, you see, beyond that, I'm also very happy that for us as the NDC, we are a law-abiding political party. And so our parliamentary candidate for Ayawaso West Wuogon, John Dumelo, and our legal team in the constituency has actually filed a complaint with the Office of Special Prosecutor. We would follow it up and ensure that due processes, investigations are conducted, and where anybody is found culpable, the person is punished to serve as a deterrent to others. But then you also see, sometimes I think that people want to defend that, well, they are standing on the sun, I was giving them water. Somebody should make it make sense that this act of Madam Alhassan should be defended. It is not defensible by day, it is not defensible by night. But maybe the media, the security services, they need a reminder. Yeah. I just pray that it is not the rotten moshosho rice that has been cooked for them. I just pray that that moshosho rice was not cooked with dirty galamsey water. Because if you are in a queue to vote, and someone gives you what is supposedly a foreign material to carry to the ballot box, to carry to the voting booth, and this event happened, one, with security persons at a security premises, a police station of all places, and they looked on. Is the police telling us that they didn't see? Until today, no arrest, no invitation, nothing. Now, do you know what even makes it nauseating? The acts aside, it is the lies. It is the lies that you are caught on camera sharing food and water, or sharing a package and water. And then when the media questions while you are actually violating the very laws you make as a legislator, you go on to say that I wasn't here. I don't know if you saw me. I'm not the one. Really? But you see, it should tell you that the lies in the MPP is very infectious. It actually transcends from their flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and down to persons like we have seen, Madam Alhassan, who you have caught on tape, right, gifting out whatever content was in the bag, but will stand and say that it is not the case. It should tell you. Now, if you interpret our laws well, her action, I'm sure you've discussed here, amounts to treating. Yeah. That breeds corruption and corruption-related activities. And so I come back to my point that it is not okay for Shrab to just say that I am slamming or I'm condemning the act. Beyond the condemnation, what happens? Now, what will also happen to me if I decide that on the day of elections, I would wear an NDC t-shirt to the polling station? You know, it violates electoral rules. Yes. But which of the police officers, which legislator would have that moral audacity to say that I am flaunting an electoral rule? I think that what she should have done, right, was to actually apologize and forbid herself from doing that. But one thing is that I am happy that it happened in the special voting. Let us use that as a test case going into the main election, and let the security forces be alert that they should not condone, they should not aid and abet actions, the precedent that has been set in this special voting by the MPP. They should not condone it from the NDC. They should not condone it from any other political party. Because the more they look on helpless, the more people full-chested want to actually violate the laws. And I don't think it all goes well for our democracy. But in landing, I would appeal to the good people of Ghana that you see, let not the food, let not the water, let not the white envelopes, like we saw in the case of Dr. Kingsley Nyako, buy our conscience. Beyond that, let us vote for a leader that has experience, that has been tried and tested, a leader that was able to stabilize the city, a leader that would not make a mockery of your situation, a leader that would not actually overborrow, and then a leader that would not misapply the taxpayers' money. And that leader is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Right.
The NPP and the NDC are not the same. The distinction is clear. We have a superior candidate, we have a superior message, and the good people of Ghana would give the NDC another nod in government. Trust me, next week we'll be here discussing the victory of the NDC, inshallah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining us is actually Ellen Amma Dakun, who is an MPP communication team member. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Fine,
All right, thank you for joining us. All right, so we were discussing about the issue of the Ayawaso West Wagon over the food distribution, and obviously Shraj coming out to criticize them. So I asked Na, how does this actually align or contradict with electoral processes governing Ghana?
You asked now.
Yeah.
You
So
haven't
no.
asked me.
So I'm asking you the same thing, right?
Honestly, I have been traveling and doing quite a lot of campaigning on the ground, so I'm just hearing about this. What's the beef that Honorable Lydia Larson shared water?
Yes.
And food. And so it goes against the electoral
It
rules.
is actually against the law. I'm sure you know that, right?
And if it goes against the law, her counterpart or her opponent had gone to report it.
Actually, under the Ghana's Representation of the People Law 1992, Section 34 addresses the offense of treating, which is closely related to vote buying. Specifically, Section 34 states a person commits an offense of treating if they corruptly, by themselves or through another person, before, during, or after an election, give or provide or pay wholly or in part for any meat, drink, entertainment, or provision to or for any person, for the purpose of corruptly influencing the person or another to vote or refrain from voting, or on account of the person of or another having voted or refrained from voting, or being about to vote or refrain from voting. A person who commits the offense is corruptly accept or to take any such meat, drink, or entertainment offered in the circumstances and for the purpose mentioned above. Engaging in such practices is considered as corrupt electoral offense under the Ghanaian law and is subject to legal penalties. So yes, it's an offense.
So let's report her and let them send her to court.
So you agree that she should be reported?
It's as simple as that. If you think somebody has broken the law, report her. I don't see why this one too would turn into a banter.
Well, it turned into a banter because she's an MP and she's a lawmaker.
Report her. It's as simple as that. I did hear her opponent, John Dumelo, insulting her all over the place. She's stupid and she's... I mean, when you find out that somebody is going against the law, you don't insult the person. We are in an election. You think that she has broken the law. You go straight up. Yes, you make your concerns heard, and then you report to the appropriate authorities, which I hear that he says he has reported. You don't go around insulting everybody about it. He has a tendency, he in particular has had a tendency of insulting this particular woman all over the place. I just think that it's much ado about nothing. That is my personal opinion. If you think or anybody else thinks that she has broken the law, that is why we have the agencies. And you just don't report it. You have to report the police officers or the prisons officer, whoever was also receiving it, because according to what you read,
according to everybody is culpable.
So report all of them and then let the law take its course whilst we move on. I really don't see what the noise making is
all right,
about.
but personally, do you see a problem in it, in her actions.
As at this point, how do you ask me personally? You said it's against the law. I haven't read the law.
No,
I haven't read it.
So you didn't
said,
know.
You said it, and so if you think that she's going against the law, you send her to the appropriate authorities.
After having read everything, do you now agree?
I am not the law. Neither am I the courts. So
Right.
send her to the law. You cannot accuse anybody of anything. I mean, you are innocent until you are proven guilty. So gather all the evidence, send it to the appropriate place, and let them take her to court. It's as simple as that.
Right. And
My opinion in this doesn't matter. It won't change anything.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. So now, what measures will actually be taken to address this issue, especially from the side of the NDC?
The law is not in the bosom of the NDC. What the NDC can do is what the NDC has done.
Right.
Ours is to report. Ours is to show the evidence to the appropriate authority or authorities. We have done that. We will leave it to them to decide whether they want to enforce it, whether they want to investigate, or what have you. But then you see, I think this morning Ghanaians should be worried at attitudes that seeks to actually play little some of the issues we've seen. And I'm sure as we speak, the videos must run.
Oh, it is
So
running.
that it is running good. So that our viewers are aware that it is not because somebody is actually staging or somebody is trying to throw dust at anybody. It is because a member of parliament, a legislator, one who legislates, one who makes the laws, has in broad daylight broken the same laws. But you say, Chris, granted that she is not even tied to this practice, this unethical practice. As a stakeholder or as a partaker in the election, if in your presence the law is broken, I mean, in such levels, what is expected of you? So granted that even in the face of her lying, that I wasn't there. Meanwhile, we are seeing you there. And you are saying that I wasn't there. So granted that you are not even in charge, or you are not responsible for the sharing. But it is in your presence, and you are seeing other people share, other people influence, other people induce electorates, and you look on helpless. Is that what we are being told to understand this morning? That nobody sees that there's something wrong with it. And like I said in my submission, the law must deal with anybody, whether high in society, whether low in society, whether rich, whether poor, who actually violates our electoral laws. I'm sure your media house has reported incidents of people having been arrested for voting and taking pictures.
Yeah.
Does that mean that going into this election, different rules apply to, for example, ordinary citizens, and different rules applies to the NPP? Is that what we are being made to understand? That because she's a member of the NPP and the NPP is in government, we should play this as little? And then when somebody goes into the voting booth and the person takes a picture of his ballot, which of course is condemnable, the person is arrested with immediate effect. But this one, the special voting was on when? Monday. Monday has passed. Yesterday has passed. Today will pass. And like I'm saying, maybe it will slide like that of Dr. Kingsley Nyaku, just slid away like that without anybody acting. Because at the end of the day, you can't fight yourself, can you? When I say you can't fight yourself, what I'm saying is that the security services who are actually supposed to be enforcing the arrest, among others, or investigating, they are those who are being induced. So what action would they take against themselves? And so in this, by the time you're actually inviting Madam Lydia Hassan, you are inviting the security persons who actually took the food for questioning.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, per their training, they should know by now that such inducement amounts to corruption and corruption-related activities and does not translate into a certain free, fair, and credible election.
Okay.
That's just the position of the NDC.
All right, no problem. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be delving into different topics.
munim no. Ever mobile phones, television, air condition, speakers, computers, laptops. Munim say Franco Trading Enterprise. And that's why you're #1. Say open phones, papa pan and one kade. Any brother from so-called phones bit to say Nokia, Samsung, iPhone, Infinix, Huawei, STG, Alcatel, and the phone beer open we are simubia. A Franco Trading Enterprise. Bora shop beer and we're gonna have fun beer. Nekopa dear. I so, Mamma Pesa Mutunu do so Mitch be bringing a do no. A Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. A phone papa and the accessories papa. I hear you.
This election season, Channel One TV is bringing you closer to every vote, every constituency, and every result. Our team will provide in-depth, data-driven analysis to show you what each vote means for our nation.
From the campaign trail to voting day and the final declaration of results, Channel One Television is covering it all. We'll be on the ground in all 276 constituencies, so every voice is heard and every community represented.
Our comprehensive election coverage brings you every key moment and every voice.
With updates from all stakeholders nationwide. This is election news you can trust, powered by the latest data and expert analysis.
Join us on Channel One TV for election coverage that keeps you informed and engaged.
We are here for every step of the journey.
Channel One TV, your election bureau.
This election season, Channel One TV is bringing you closer to every vote, every constituency, and every result. Our team will provide in-depth, data-driven analysis to show you what each vote means for our nation.
From the campaign
takes all the hustle away. Yeah, don't be like her. Built is your all-in-one simplified finance platform. It's your home for invoices, payments, your payroll, and so much more.
Oh, wow.
Grow your business today. Sign up now at Built.Africa. Download the Built app now.
Attention, my Ghana people. Election day is almost here. This December 7th from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. sharp. Each of us has the power to shape the future of our nation. Your vote in the presidential and parliamentary elections can make a real difference. Now, this is how to ensure that your vote counts. When you arrive at the polling station, verify your identity. Even if your voter ID card is missing, go to your polling station. You will be allowed to vote. Now, receive a ballot paper. Take a moment to check that it has a validating stamp at the back. This is very important, and make sure that it is clean and undamaged. Step up to the voting screen. Place your thumb on the ink pad and carefully place it in the box next to your chosen candidate's name, photo, and symbol. Be very careful to keep your thumbprint within the box. Remember to wipe your thumb with the tissue provided in the voting screen before you touch the ballot paper again. Then fold the ballot lengthwise and place it in the ballot box. Be very, very mindful. Your vote will be rejected if you thumbprint for more than one candidate, leave it blank, or if it's missing a validating stamp at the back. So take note. After voting, officials would conduct a transparent count. Ballots will be verified, sorted, and counted, with party agents carefully observing every step of the process. And yes, remember, this election is your opportunity to choose leaders who represent you. So step out on December 7th to vote and let your voice be heard. Your vote is your future. Remember, we vote with our thumbs, not guns. Weapons have no place at the polling station.
All right, you're welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily, and we're still looking at topics making waves as we dive into the elections on December 7th. So we are going to be looking at the issue of defaced ballots that were destroyed in Eastern Region, election 2024 related issues. So let's check on Channel 1 TV, in fact, channel1news.com. We have the Ghana Police Service and the Eastern Regional Election Security Task Force supervised the destruction of defaced ballot papers on Tuesday, December 3, 2024. This process, monitored by election officials and party representatives, occurred following the Electoral Commission's recall of ballots due to broken seal in the Eastern region. Special voting in the Eastern and Western regions were suspended except for Afram Plain North and South constituencies. The Eastern EC Director, John Appiah-Boafo, commended the orderly destruction process. The exercise has been very successful. We brought all the parties together, the constituency executives, NDC, NPP, CPP, and the others. They checked the seals of the ballot paper bags, and they saw that everything was intact before we offloaded them, and now we are burning them, he stated. The Eastern Regional Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Baba Jamal Kone, who was present at the dump site, expressed shock about the level of communication at the EC regarding the conduct of today's exercise. I quote, "They never communicated to us officially that they want to discard the rejected ballot papers. It was one of their officers who leaked the information to us. They communicated internally that they should discard the ballot papers and leave them at the district police stations. But I called the EC regional director, and he said he was also told the same. But I told him that we are going to accept the fact that the ballot papers should be kept at the police stations and the bag emptied. And also I told him we are not going to agree, as he stated. He maintained that the NDC will mount a serious surveillance on the day of elections to ensure credible process. And you can actually read more of that on channel1news.com. All right, so we have gone through it. Aileen, I'm going to start with you. How do you assess the transparency and the process used to destroy the defaced ballot papers?
This is not the first time in this particular election cycle that they are destroying ballot papers for whichever reason. It started off with destroying ballot papers that didn't have the correct serial numbers. Then there was another announcement of ballot papers in different parts of the country having either faulty or they were not enough, or so they had to do an adjustment. And then this one of the special voters that had to keep the whole of the Eastern and Western region.
Yeah, Eastern and Western.
Western regions. So for me, I just think that they are doing their work. This is the first time I'm actually seeing an EC this transparent. In the last elections, and I did hear from one of their directors, they said yes, it's been going on. When they do their internal findings, they usually destroy it, but they just don't make announcements of it. But because this election is quite particular, and a lot of us have shown interest in it, the whole nation is very interested, I think it's just right that the makers know that they are destroying it. What I find interesting is the fact that the NDC always shows up and then they are making some comment or the other about the fact that they will not agree and will keep an eye. My dear, you kept an eye last 4 years. I mean, if you lose an election, you lose it. If you win, you win it. The Electoral Commission, after 9 elections, this is their 9th one, I expect them to have enough institutional memory to do things right. Let us also remember that whenever you are in opposition, you are always eye-red, as I put it. The MPP we were eye-red in 2016, that when the Electoral Commission coughed, we had a problem. The MPP was still eye-red in 2000. I mean, that's the work of an opposition party. I would have been shocked if the NDC had kept quiet over these matters. That is their work. They are supposed to keep everybody on their toes. Otherwise, they would not be a proper opposition party. So they are good at that, and that's what they are supposed to do. So if they do make a bit of noise about it, we can allow them. They are in opposition. As a government, and also very serious about this election, because we intend to get Ghanaians to vote for Dr. Bawumia to become the next president on Saturday. When we do see these things, we might not come out and make noise about it, but there's serious engagements with the EC about these matters. We have our people who are properly situated at the EC offices. They go for the IPAC meetings. They are there 24/7. They've been there for the past months. Everything that the EC does, the MPP is there. We keep our eye on it, including this distraction. Our people are there. It's just that we feel that we have to keep our eyes on the ball. We should be focused. The intention is to get Dr. Bawumia elected and not to be distracted by too many things. So when you see something that is wrong as a party rep, an MPP rep at the EC, you call the attention to it and you get them to do it. So it's good that they have destroyed it. Hopefully going forward, I don't know the status of the transportation of the electoral items. I presume that by now they should be sending them all over the country. So as we're doing it, anything that comes up, it's good they let us know. But it's good they have destroyed these ones too. Let's move on, and I'm hoping. Have they been able to announce when the special voting for those two regions will happen?
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
okay.
Thursday.
So let's hope they also go through it peacefully and quietly. And then Saturday we all go out, every one of us. I hope all of us have looked for our voters' ID.
Yeah.
If you don't have your voters' ID or it's missing, you can still go out. Just go to your polling station, go mention your name. They'll walk you through the processes and you vote. Every Ghanaian must vote.
Right.
So far as you have a vote and you can vote, go and vote. We should all determine how this country should move. You don't sit at home and make all the noise. You don't take part in the voting. They allow the rest of us to go and choose your leader for you. And you're going to spend the next 4 years complaining. So get your things ready and go and vote. The EC will do its job. We'll all make sure that they do their job.
Right.
But get out and vote.
Right.
And of course, when you get out, you're voting for Dr. Bawumia.
Right. So now, from what Ellen said and what even most of the NPP communicators had said throughout this week, it seems like they see that the EC has been transparent. But reading this article, we clearly see that there's a bit of miscommunication going on somewhere, because the rep of the EC said that all the constituency executives were present, NDC, NPP, CPP, and others. And on the other hand, on the NDC, the Baba Jamal Kone actually said that they were not told that it was leaked information. So it was not as if that they were informed. So how does this actually go together with transparency when it comes to how you see it?
So Chris, let me reiterate that the NDC, in as much as we would respect the Electoral Commission and cooperate with it to actually do its job, we are going into this election with zero trust for the Electoral Commission. I think that point needs to be made. And to actually call on the special voters in the eastern and the western regions that tomorrow is their turn, we would urge them as a political party that the inducement that we saw in Ayawaso West Wuogon, if it comes to them from any political party, they should resist it, they should report that candidate, so that at least we are all committing to ensuring that our elections are free and fair. And let me say that on this one, I'm gathering information from our Director of Elections and IT that it was the Electoral Commission who came out with the news that some electoral security has been breached. In as much as we don't trust the Electoral Commission, there is a need to commend them when they get it right. It is not always, you are coming at an EC. But of course, when they fault, we'll come at them. But where they get it right, where we are having reports that they reported of the breach in electoral security and the need for these ballot papers to be bent, would commend the EC. But for us as a party, it's not even about the Electoral Commission, though we are cooperating. For us, our appeal is to the good people of Ghana, that the EC is a stakeholder, the security services are, the political parties are, the courts are, but it lies with the electorate to make a decision and make it resoundingly, to actually register their displeasure against the NPP. So whether it is ballot papers being bent, no matter the situations or the circumstances that leads us to a free, fair and transparent election, what we are saying is that Ghanaians must actually vote against the NPP for the deception, for lying to us, for telling us they have the magic wand to turn the economy around, and today we are where we are because of the NPP. Now, let me also remind Ghanaians that, you see, during times like this, it is very typical of the NPP to come and say, to come and, conjure stories. I've heard people say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says when he comes to power, what will he do to the free SHS? He has never said that. And the good people of Ghana are aware that that narrative that has been churned out from the camp of the NPP is false. What His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is saying that he will do is that the taxes that it took the NPP to bus their sick members of parliament in ambulances to come and confer on us, to come and confer e-levy, emission levy, boiler levy, what have you, COVID levy on us. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is pledging a social contract with the good people of Ghana that in his first 120 days in office, he will cancel the e-levy that the NPP has imposed on us. But what is the wisdom in the NPP saying that e-levy has created or will create 11 million jobs, and then you want to come back and cancel the e-levy? What wisdom was put together in actually imposing such hardships on Ghanaians, and you think that it should take you another term? The ordinary Ghanaian should go and stand on the scorchy sun to vote for you. Whilst you are in power and you have the opportunity to reverse the hardships, you say that no, I won't reverse the hardships until you promote me. In whose thinking? I think it's the lowest level of thinking. The good people of Ghana watching me, vote for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and vote for the NDC parliamentary candidate in your constituency.
All right. So how can we actually now, to both of you actually, so how can the police and the EC actually work together to prevent more of these incidents happening?
Well, I believe that these are operational issues, and the police and the EC are working together very well, as we can see. The important thing is that when mistakes happen, they're able to identify it and then they rectify it. But to get it 100%, I mean, this is a human institution. Things would happen. The important thing, as I said, is that you have systems in place that picks up all the disparate, the different things, all the things that go wrong, and you are able to correct it. So far, I can say that the police and the EC, I haven't heard anything about them not working together. They've done quite well. For this particular election and for for what is at stake, I believe that the temperature have been managed quite well by the police and everything. Well, what is at stake is quite big. We are looking at whether we are going forward as a nation or we are coming backwards. As we said, some people want to reset us back to the days of doom, so back to the days when parents had to struggle to take their children to school, back to the days where we had to sleep in darkness for ages. And we are also saying that we also want to do an upgrade. We want to upgrade on the good things that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done. We want to move Ghana from the analog system, move into the digital world that the whole world is going into. That is what we are. So it's a choice, whether we want Ghana to go forward or we want to go back. And for this sort of a choice, the police, I think, have done quite well in managing all the political parties and our issues. Of course, typical of the NDC and other opposition parties. It's an election where Dr. Bawumia has actually moved up from being the underdog to, according to some polls, practically surpassing the former president. Let's not forget that the former president was elected or selected by his party a whole year before Dr. Bawumia. So he had a whole year to campaign and to tell Ghanaians what he wanted to do after staying home. For Ghanaians asked him to go back home in 2016. He has had the opportunity of being at home for 8 years. He's had the opportunity to look at what is happening. He's had the opportunity. He's right here in Ghana with us. So he had the opportunity to line up what he wants to come and give to Ghanaians as his comeback. But he came and he told us that he will give us small chickens, small goats, I mean, and then the latest one I heard is the one that he's talking about giving the young people Wellington boots and the poly tanks to put in the Aboboya to be going around planting trees. If we really have to plant trees, we don't have any modern way of doing that. And staying at home for 8 solid years, this is what you come up. You don't have any proper cohesive agenda for this country. And that is the choice that Ghanaians are going to make on Saturday. Do we want to go back to a disorganized former president and his party whose campaign is even disorganized, or we want an organized political party that will lead to an organized government led? I mean, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has taught all of us that he knew exactly what he was doing. And getting to the end of his term, we're all seeing it. Do we want that continuation, or we want to go back to the days? And that is exactly the choices that we are going to be making. So for me, I believe the EC and the police in the past 6 months have done so well in managing both political parties. And I believe just 2 days or 3 days to the election, they'll bring it to a good end. And Ghanaians are going to vote, and vote very well, and vote conclusively for the NPP. And you're not just voting for Dr. Bawumia. You're voting for Dr. Bawumia, who is placed #1, and all other NPP parliamentary candidates. We are all in #1. I mean, when you're in pole position, you're in pole position. So as you're voting for Dr. Bawumia, you're voting for the NPP parliamentary candidate. We do not want the situation that is happening in Parliament to happen again. We don't want a hung Parliament. So every president who we vote for must come with a full complement with his parliamentarians to get government business going. This 4 years sort of drama that we had in Parliament, I don't think Ghanaians are interested again. So that's also part of it. That's why you should vote for whichever candidate and vote for the parliamentary candidate. There should be no skirt and blouse in this business.
Yeah, but it all depends on, what the people want at the end of the day.
Well, that's why I'm appealing and encouraging that whichever candidates you vote for that party's parliamentary candidate, because the past 4 years in Parliament has also not been pleasant. I mean, this Parliament, if you do the checks, it's been the Parliament that hasn't really done much work compared to the 6th Parliament, compared to the 7th Parliament, because they've been bickering.
Yeah, but
for me, I think that we should look at it and ask Ghanaians that we tested this. Let's have it half and half, and let's see how it will go.
Right.
It didn't go too well. So
I understand you. I understand you. But with the case of
it.
saying the MPs, at the end of the day, it's the constituents actually know who is working and who is not working. So if somebody is definitely working for them before, it will be hard to change the person at the end of the day.
That's why I'm saying that most of the parliamentary candidates, they know their areas.
Yeah.
So it's an appeal to the voters that whoever you choose as the presidential candidate, for the sake of Ghana and for the fact that Ghana has to move on, and for the fact that that president needs the people, the parliamentarians to work with, pick the MPs from his party. Of course, being an MPP member, I would plead that as you choose Dr. Bawumia, you choose his MPs.
Yeah.
But then if you decide not to even vote for Dr. Bawumia, whoever you vote for, do vote for them so that we don't have this situation again in Parliament. Otherwise, we simply will not get any work done.
Right.
And it's been 4 years of not getting any work done. I don't think we want another 4 years of this bickering. It's not good for us.
Okay, now.
And so you see, this morning, I've been hearing this, but it is the impudence of the NPP to make a mockery of the Nkuko Nketenkete statement. And anytime I hear that, I try to put it in context. That President John Dramani Mahama was addressing a specific group of people who actually their mainstay occupation was poultry rearing. So it is okay to tell them that I would improve your business by giving you day-old chicks. Now you see, it is also the impudence of making mockery of it when you go to the market, the prices of eggs are soaring. And then it will take a certain intention attempt to stabilize the prices of eggs. Christmas is coming, and you will go to, the poultry farms wanting to buy, some live poultry for the family, and we can't simply afford. But the NPP will sit down and make mockery of day-old chicks. In fact, they would make mockery of themselves beyond 7th December. But let me put that aside. This morning, we are being made to understand that it's a choice to be made. Of course, Ghanaians will never choose the wicked DDEP ever again under the NPP administration. Chris, Ghanaians will not choose, an NPP government that cannot keep inflation at a low in such a way that their daily income or their income in general is actually robbed of them. Ghanaians will not choose an NPP government that in the 8 years of the administration, they have borrowed altogether over 11 billion on the Eurobond market to the extent that we have been canned out of the capital market. And in all this, there is nothing to show. Whatever the NPP has borrowed in their 8 years is more than every government put together under this fourth republic. You think that Ghanaians will go to the polls and make a choice of that government again? I am not sure. Ghanaians will also not make a choice over a government who imposed on us e-levy, which of course John Dramani Mahama will cancel. Ghanaians will not make a choice for COVID levy. Every time you call the NPP to accountability, they run and hide behind COVID and Russia-Ukraine war, or what have you. John Dramani Mahama will cancel the very harsh COVID levy that beyond COVID we are paying. We were in this country, and the NPP government told us that they are giving us free water and free electricity. And on this, I say they are confident tricksters. They tricked us, and then we use the water and the lights. Fast forward, they are telling us that you would have to pay for that. It is a past consideration. That's what we call that in law. You don't actually tell somebody that use this for free. Then later you are telling the person that come and pay. Emissions levy would go. The NPP are confident tricksters because they cancelled 15 taxes and introduced 22. Give me just a second to let viewers know. The NPP, they imposed on us the fiscal stabilization levy. They imposed on us the communication service levy. They imposed on us over 20 to 22 levies. And these are the people who have the audacity to say that we are moving you from production to taxation. In fact, on the topic we didn't discuss, I agree with Dom Level that the NPP has actually moved us from taxation to robbery. They've literally put their hands in our pockets. And in that anger and that hunger, Ghanaians will vote against them. I can assure you, we are back next week discussing the victory of the NDC and John Dramani Mahama, inshallah.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Na, who's a member of the NDC communication team, and Ellen Amal-Dakun, who is the MPP communications team member. It was nice having you on the set. And ladies and gentlemen, remember that it's your civil right to vote. So go out there and vote, or else someone else will vote in the leader that you probably do not want. Thank you for staying with us on the News Review segment. We'll take a quick break and then we will come back.
Life is a celebration of moments. Big and small.
The sun is scorching, I'm feeling the heat.
With Piva Drink, every moment becomes a refreshing celebration.
From
the beach to your home.